So in the past 2 weeks since we last covered Tophia, do you guys think she's bettered her life yet? Do you think she's any closer to getting that ever so elusive house she's trying to get? Or is she still living in her car with like no signs of getting out of there? Well, I hate to be the bearer of obvious news, but Tophia is still rotting away in her car with Mamachu by her side, and things haven't been going very well. Mamachu was in the hospital last week, and Tophiachu spent that time arguing at the trolls and saying that, they're the reason that her family's in this situation, which no, no they're not. It's your fault you're in this situation for not paying your rent, but that's a discussion we can have later in the video. She decides to threaten Ash Travino, but of course she does it in tried and true Tophia fashion by trying to pin it on, asking other people to go and rip Ashley's hair out, quote unquote. And when Ashley decided to respond, Tophia is really upset that Ash would have the nerve to say anything to her. Like, what? Like, the great Tophia should not be spoken upon, but she can speak on everybody else's issues. And that's not me defending old trashy Ashy, because that woman had her whole own controversy this week, which we might touch on in this video. But really today, we're here to talk about the Chus, because Tophiachu has been talking a whole lot about how hard she's trying to work to get them out of this car, despite sitting there and wasting her money on basically just basic bullshit that they don't need right now. PS2 games being chief among them, but you know what? I'm just gonna let you guys hear all of Toph's ranting, and we'll talk about it as we go along. So with that being said, get yourself ready, because the most grating woman on the internet is about to just make your ears so unpleasant for the next 40 or so minutes. But the best part about this week is the gingerbread man filter Tophia is choosing to use. Sometimes he just jiggles and gyrates around the screen, because this is phenomenal. Tophia should always use this little gingerbread man to talk for her. And where we're going to start is by somebody saying that, Tophia always claims that she has proof of everything. She basically has dirt on everybody she talks on. And when someone said, well, the Reddit has proof on you, she immediately she doesn't accept that. And then she has to deflect and consider everybody in the Reddit the same as her. You want to know how she does that? By calling them jobless people.
There's so much proof on the Reddit. You mean jobless people? People who have no jobs? Those people?
Look, in this part, she's not even saying anything. The face is just like I love. Just wait for it. Look, it's just, God, he's getting pulled off the screen and shit. But somebody really ticks off Tophia when they say, well, if you're an influencer, as you claim to be, then that makes the Reddit influencers too. Since those people are in the same boat as you, they're jobless and all they do is talk shit on other people. And Tophia is not having that.
They're not influencers, because Reddit is filled with jobless people that sit there thinking that they're famous bloggers when they're not. Especially because Reddit has caused a lot of damage to people. The stuff I see, Reddit is just like Discord. They're not influencers. They don't get paid to harass people and then actively admit they're harassing people. They were sending people to the library to take pictures of me. They recently got a picture of me acting like they was incognito, like I didn't know who was sitting there. Like, I pay attention to my surroundings. I know who is where. If I wanted to let the library know that you were harassing me so they can ask you not to come back, I will. But you're lucky I'm nice enough not to do that to you, because some of these people need the library to study. You want to ruin your chances of studying? It's so weird considering the fact that I don't engage with those people. I was just like, I forgot what it was. Sorry. I still my throat. But anyways, I got up to do something and all I see is a photo of my behind or whatever, because they took a photo when I was walking away and literally acting like I wouldn't know who did that, because I can see. I know who was sitting where, and then the Discord just sends people, not Discord, Reddit. And if they were influencers, they wouldn't be harassing someone, because influencers, I don't give a hoot, holler, whatever about brand deals, because I'm not trying to be brand friendly. But if they were content creators, they're not doing anything to help their account or content, because they're actively in drama. Imagine sitting in a Reddit for 24/7 talking about you got a job and you're in school.
Now, I'm not about to go to bat for all of Reddit here, but what I'll say is Tophia's whole, these people can't obviously have jobs and they can't be going to school because they sit on Reddit all day. And when you really get down to brass tacks, those people are doing just as much productive work to society as Tophia is doing. Tophia is sitting there just ranting and raving on her stream, bitching about other people the same way the Reddit is ranting and raving about Tophia and saying how much of a terrible person she is. And Tophia claims, well, they couldn't possibly be influencers because they're not getting paid for it. But again, counterpoint, you are getting paid pennies on the dollar because people found out how much Tophia made last month. And despite her loving to claim that she made like $1,000, it's more like 15 or 16 bucks. Like, we're really getting there, guys. And mind you, that's Tophia's favorite phrase, mind you. She thinks they're gonna get a house. She thinks that they're going to save up enough money to be able to just buy a house. And I say that, buy a house, because she is over the idea of renting. You know why? Because she feels like they shouldn't have to answer to anybody. You see, they blame the trolls for being, like, put out of their first apartment, the apartment they were just kicked out of, I mean. And it's because how messy it was in there that they'll probably never be allowed back. And in Tophia's mind, it's like, well, they should have never known how messy it was. They should have never been able to see how we were living because that's our business. And I don't want to be like, renting from somebody and then be able to get a call from a troll letting them know what shit we're doing to the house. That's not gonna fly. We deserve to do whatever the fuck we want to these people's places. So in her mind, the only way to get that is to buy a home, which, technically is the only way to do it. But where are you gonna get that money, Tophia? You don't even have enough money for a 2-bedroom apartment right now, let alone enough to buy a full-on home. Don't get it mixed up. Tophia will say many times that the reason they can't get an apartment is because Tophiachu is on a do not rent list, and if they get an apartment, he can't come live with them. Well, he doesn't live with them now, and he wasn't living with them beforehand before he went to jail. He's living in his own apartment somewhere, and he's too preoccupied with talking to other women on Twitter that he doesn't give a shit about the family. The only reason Tophiachu seems to think they need a house is because trolls won't be able to call and get them kicked out or get them checked up on. And on one hand, the human element of it, I get where she's coming from. She doesn't want to be bothered by all these people. But here's the thing, right? Say these trolls called the apartment and they said, you need to go see this place. It's a pigsty. And they went in and it wasn't messy at all. They were just keeping up the house, they're cleaning the house. Maybe there's a little bit of there's a can or two on the table, but nothing crazy. They probably would have went, yeah, these people are full of shit. We're not going to bother you guys anymore. But their suspicions were proven true when they rolled up in there, and on the side of the bed is mountains of cans. The stovetop is covered in grease. The lights are covered in grease. There's trash everywhere. You were wrecking that place, and you have the nerve to blame the trolls for you guys getting kicked out. And the craziest part about all this is that's not the reason they even had to get, kicked out or had to leave. It's because they couldn't pay the rent. So no matter what, it's always Tophia's fault in this situation, yet she'll try to push it to somebody else. And that's basically exactly the type of, mentality and mindset she's exhibiting here, by just trying to project and say, no, these are the jobless people, everything's their fault, they're not influencers, I'm an influencer. Tophia, you're no different than the run-of-the-mill troll. Really, that's all it is. You're nothing more than an internet troll who has a pretty decent following of even more trolls.
It's crazy. It's either I'm 30 with no job, I'm ugly, which is a lie, I don't look my age, which is crazy because I'm actually about to be 31, and it's so crazy why you want to lie to my face. It's like that song Michael Jackson said, why you want to trip on me? How old do I think I look? Well, not 31. You know what's the crazy, insane thing about looking young is that I will look like I'm in my 30s. Now that I'm in my 30s, I look like I'm in my 20s. So forth and so forth. When I'm in my 50s, I will look like I'm in my 40s. The only reason why I will probably look old is because I don't take care of my skin. But because I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't do any of that stuff, I'm not aging myself faster. So drinking would probably make you look older. There are 19-year-olds that got addicted to substances, sadly, and I felt so bad because when you see them, they look like they were in their 30s. And I'm like, bro, that should be enough to tell you to stop, because you look a lot older than what you are if you get hooked to substances.
Wow. Whoa. What do you even say about that? I saw one of the comments fly by in her chat that said, guys, let her have her confidence. And, we're going to do just that. So I'll just mention the fact that, man, it is hard to react to this clip without just stating the obvious. She's bringing up that people who do drugs and alcohol tend to look older while they're young, and while that's true for many people, it's not true for everybody. You don't have to do drugs and alcohol in order to look very old when you're fairly young. Tophiachu being case in point, I couldn't help myself. This is just delusional.
Like, let's be honest with ourselves, right? Because I need to be taking care of my skin, but literally I do not look 31. And I'm not saying I look like a teenager, because that would be weird, but I do look like I'm in my younger 20s, but I don't look like I'm 40 years old like people try to say. Your mom looks like Moses turned to dust, and you're worried about me. Some of y'all don't even look half as good talking about people's looks. I would advise you to turn your camera on or have a profile picture of you before you even run your gums about someone else, because the amount of faceless PFPs that have said stuff about me is crazy. It's like, you faceless talking about me? How do I not know you look like an overweight nutty professor? But whatever race you are, like if you're white, you look like the white nutty professor. Like, how do I not know that? Whenever someone slightly attractive gives me any attention, people love to run to the, oh, they were just being friendly. Like, no, they were not. And I'm sorry to tell you that you don't get attention, and it's sad that you're mad that someone gets attention from really attractive people because they're just that kind.
I'm sorry, what? What? Okay, I think, if I'm correct here, right? Tophia is saying that attractive people talk to her not because they're being nice, but because Tophia is a kind person they want to talk to. I think she's alluding to the fact that, attractive people gravitate towards Tophia because she herself is like an attractive person. Is that what she's saying there? Does it sound like what she's trying to allude to? But she goes back to the talking point that she looks like she's in her early 20s. Like, no, Tophia. Like, listen, there's a thing about being confident in yourself, right? But then there's just being realistic. You do not look like you're a woman in her early 20s. You can sit here and say that you feel like you are an attractive 31-year-old woman, and nobody can, refute that because that's your opinion on yourself. But when you actively say, oh, I look like 10 years younger, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, and anyone can tell you that, and that's not me being cruel to her. It's just being entirely realistic. And if I wanted to be cruel to her, I'd do the things that she's saying to people in her chat. That your mom looks like dust. Your mom looks like the overweight nutty professor. Which, I mean, Tophia, this is not a battle you want to fight, considering this picture of Mama J. She's oh my god, that picture, fuck.
So I saw that racist rant that Ash Travino went on, to be insensitive about 9/11, and it pisses me off because that a lot of racism was faced then with foreigners and Middle Eastern people, I believe it is, because of 9/11. A lot of those people that wore hijabis and stuff, they got attacked because people blamed them for 9/11. For you to say that on a live stream about a man that was unalived by someone you dated when you were 18 and you were interested in him when he was 12 and you were 18, that's weird. And then to go I heard she's coming to New Mexico soon. Someone should rip her hair out. Again, she really needs. She needs that. Someone needs, and no, I want people to say I'm making threats because she's the one that be telling people to pull up to her house with her kids. So this is not making threats, but.
So Tophia talks about the aforementioned new controversy with Ash Travino, this weird racist rant she went on, also saying that, she was obsessed with this 12-year-old kid when she was 18, and that kid ended up going to jail. And I believe, if I'm to be believed, that kid, he offed somebody, ended their life. And Ash said basically they deserved it, which is so messed up. It's completely weird. And Tophia calling her out on this is completely justified. I'll give Big Toph that. This is one of Ash Travino's worst moments. But for Tophia to then say that somebody should rip her hair out when she comes to New Mexico, she's just saying because she deserves that. Well, Toph, I mean, that sounds like a challenge to me. If I'm hearing correctly, that's you saying that you want somebody to assault this woman. I mean, is that what you guys heard? It's what I heard. And she loves to phrase it in a way where it can't come back to her, where she can say, oh, I'm not threatening people because she said that somebody else should go and do that. Well, of course, apparently this got back to Ash. And Ash Travino, I can imagine, has no qualms with saying anything about Tophia. And apparently she was like, oh, if Tophia wants to do that, maybe I'll see her in in Albuquerque. I'm just assuming here, right? I don't know if any of this happened. All I know is shortly afterwards, Tophia blocked the name Ash Travino in her chat and got really, really quiet when the prospect of Ash and her linking up ever got brought up in the chat again.
She always says that, and plus I'm not talking about her this life, so don't mention her. That's why her name is censored for a reason. Like, I don't talk about people here because I don't want anything to do with them, especially someone that continuously since years before keeps saying they're gonna jump me. Like, okay, I don't fight people, so maybe you should worry about your boyfriends and why they look like they're in middle school instead of worrying about me.
And I mean, yeah, she basically chickens out right away when she realizes there's a chance of actual confrontation. Tophia's like, no, I don't even talk bad about people. Like, I don't sit here and talk bad on other people, and like, that's not what my streams are about when that's all her streams are about. But you gotta give Tophia, of all people, the W in this situation. I'll be honest, Tophia did win this one. The way she rebutted at the end by saying you should focus on how your boyfriends look like kids. I mean, yeah, that's true. It's absolutely true. Tophia, not a fan at all. But in this particular situation, despite bitching out against Ash, she had the last word, and, I don't like to say it, but I think Toph wins this battle. I don't know, though. You guys let me know, because it's completely weak what Tophia did after dropping those threats. I mean, it just seems like Ash had a more shitty week than Tophia and was like a worse person, so I'm just giving the edge to Toph. But last week, Tophia went on a rant where she talked about how she shouldn't be expected to help immigrants anymore. Someone in her chat, I believe, asked Tophia, hey, you always talk about, like, other people doing other things for every other person, but you yourself, what do you do for other people? You're very outspoken about immigration, what are you doing to help? And Tophia, in one of the, in my opinion, the scummiest ways to reply possible, decides to lump herself in with all other African Americans and say that none of them want to help. And I just think, it's like, really, like, how can you say that about an entire group of people? Now, this whole argument stems from people in her chat calling her out, because Tophia has no problem saying that if you didn't vote, you're the worst type of person. You're the reason that Donald Trump's in office. And then people bring up, hey, Tophia, did your mom vote? She's, no, you can't say that, she can't go on buses. Yes, she went to Comic-Con, but you can't bring that up, she's so quick to defend Mamachu not voting, but will rant at everybody and anybody else, will demand people's, real names to see who they voted for. It's been just, it was so weird.
You can talk now, you speak Neanderthal. Me speak Neanderthal, me know how to speak. Jada, I'm gonna hold your hand with a stack of napkins in between when I tell you this. Like, anybody that did not vote is a part of the problem, but my mom has bladder problems. And don't say like, oh, she went to Comic-Con, because most of my Comic-Con enjoyment was spent in the bathroom. Right when we got to Comic-Con, we got locked into a bathroom. I don't know. We hadn't even hit the boost yet. I had to go straight to the bathroom because my mom needed the bathroom. We get into the bathroom and we're locked in. Mind you, it's like every minute. It's not seconds, but we're walking around. It's tiring. We only walk to like certain rows. Like, there's not even that much rows. We'll get to like the first row done, and then we got to go back to the bathroom. She spends her time living in the restroom because she does not want that surgery, because first of all, she's worried she might not make it if she gets the surgery. I cannot force her. Obviously, elderly people have a high risk when they have to get surgeries that they might not survive. So I don't know what to explain to you about that. It may not be good enough for you, but people that can't get to polls, which is why I was going to have the ballot shipped. I was like, well, I can have your ballot mailed for you in the mail. We do not have a place to have it mailed. We're not living at our other place. And let me tell you something, Jada, right? Did you vote? Who did you vote for? Let's get that out of the way. Did you vote, and who did you vote for? And don't lie and say you voted for Kamala Harris. Tell the truth. 20 million people didn't vote. I want to know. If you give me your real name, I could look it up and prove if you voted Kamala Harris too. I'm not assuming you voted for Trump. Did I say you voted for Trump? No, you could have voted third party or not voted at all. That's why I want to know. And obviously, I'm not asking you to dox your real name. But when I ask people to give their real name so I can see if they voted or not, because I can look that up on Google, it'll tell me if you voted or not. So you can't lie. Let's be for real. Half of y'all that are complaining about fucking votes probably didn't even vote, voted Donald Trump or voted Jill Stein. So you shouldn't even be talking about who didn't vote and who voted unless you stated your stance about how you voted first. I'm just saying. Okay, well, you're saying I'm all in your business, then obviously you didn't vote. I'm just going to say that. You didn't vote Donald Trump, so you didn't vote at all. If you're saying I'm in your business, you don't need to be fucking secretive about how you vote. It's just as easy as saying, hey, I voted Kamala Harris. If you're trying to be all secretive with your vote, you fucked up. Like, let's be for real. Nobody has to say, guess who I voted for, and then not say who they voted for or be secretive. If you voted Kamala Harris, you wouldn't be secretive. I'm just saying that. I'm not trying to be all in your business, because people that didn't vote, voted Donald Trump or voted third party Jill Stein, needs to shut the fuck up and not talk about other people not voting when they didn't vote. Mind you, we're living out of a fucking car. Wow. When you say my mom's part of the problem, she's not 20 million people. There's other millions of people. There's like, what, 19 million people? Let's take her out of the fraction for a second and count her as a 20 million. There's still 19 million people. So where is she? Where is she a part of the 19 other people? She's not 19 million people put together. So you guys didn't fucking vote. You're a part of the problem, because if you're saying you vote Kamala Harris, what race are you? And I'm going to ask you that because mostly black women and black men voted for Kamala Harris. So if you're not a part of the black women or black men, then clearly you didn't vote for Trump. I mean, clearly you didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And don't say I'm assuming your race, because I'm not assuming your race. Let's be so for real. Like, I'm sick and tired of people with no profile pictures coming on here trying to lie for the internet. If you don't let people have your real name to look up your information, which I'm not trying to say dox yourself, but I really want to look up to see if you actually voted Kamala Harris. You can't lie. People can search you up. Search me up. It'll tell you I voted Kamala Harris. And it'll tell you if you didn't vote either. Why do I need to worry about myself? I don't need to worry about myself. My situation, okay. If I worry about myself, the customer is always right. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to look someone in the face and say, fuck you, bastard bitch. Because I'm going to go work for someone only to tell the customer, fuck you, bastard bitch. Because if they start with me or they film me, I'm going to lose my job either way, because someone's going to report my job or whatever. I'm not going to be nice to people. That's why I can't work anywhere, because people don't know how to leave people the fuck alone. You're so concerned with me that your ass hasn't even washed your butt crack, okay? You guys need to take a dirty ass bath and wash yourself properly before you even talk to people. You don't even brush your teeth in the morning before you start talking shit about me, especially that fucking Reddit. Like, someone, like, I was like, it's not even worth it at this point to go in there and argue with them. They got blocked because they was arguing with the Reddit.
So, like, I know it's hard to say this after listening to all of that, but politics aside, I don't care what side you voted for. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, you got to give me your real name so I can check online. And don't get it twisted. I'm not asking for your real name. I'm not trying to dox you. I'm just trying to see who you voted for. If you ever gave Tophia your real name, she would use it to harass you to the ends of the earth, because she would just assume you're another troll, a Trump voting troll, and that's her most hated quality in somebody. But this person in the chat, like, she just completely assumed that they voted for Donald Trump, this Jada person, and it's all because they were going against Tophia. And in her mind, in her warped, like, reality, she thinks that if you're against her, that's because you voted for Donald Trump. And I guarantee you right now that a lot of the people who go after Tophia also voted for Kamala Harris. And really, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you voted for. You don't really got to be on the right or left to see that this girl is just the worst. Tophia genuinely doesn't care about what color you are. She only cares about what people can offer her. And she has no problem stepping on people of her own race as well. Just look at what she said about Hispanic people in the past, telling them to go back to their country if they didn't like it. But what's wild is she claims to be some type of, like, advocate against racism, when if you sit in a Tophiachu stream, I guarantee you'll come away with the same idea most people do, that she's one of the most racist online, bar none. We also really need to talk about the projection that Tophia is doing here, because it's not healthy, man. I've seen people like Cyrax do this before, where they call people like toothless mongoloids and different things, when it's like, you know, again, that's coming from Cyrax. And listen to Tophia in this video. Listen to how she was talking to that one woman in the chat. Oh, you speak Neanderthal? Oh, you look like a Neanderthal. And then saying to people, you know, you need to watch your butt cracks. Coming from somebody who is notoriously one of the most smelly people online. Now, Tophia now likes to retcon that and say that her former boss, they lied about Tophia smelling. You know, this, it's always like the other person's lying. Tophia's the right one at the end. In any situation she's always in. The people who kicked her out, they were at fault. The cops who try to kick them out of their parking spot, that's like, you know, they're in a private parking spot, they're not allowed to be there, it's their fault, not Tophia's. It's never Tophia's fault. And basically, what Toph is trying to do now is trying to say that back when her former boss was contacted and said that Tophia smelled, well, she was clearly lying just so she could get, like, in with the trolls or whatever. I don't know what her reasoning is, but she now wants people to believe thoroughly that her former boss lied about her smelling. And again, it just goes back to her saying that anybody who ever has anything negative to say about them being a liar. I mean, look at the way she talks about the Reddit. You know, they're all jobless. They all have nothing better to do. They're not influencers like Tophia. In her mind, if you're online just being negative, you're nothing more than a jobless troll who doesn't have anything going in their life. But because in Tophia's eyes, she's making positive content, she should be getting paid. She is an influencer. I seriously don't think Tophia has like a good mindset on what it's going to take for her to be popular online, to get money online. Because she thinks if she just makes more videos and like kind of has a smiling face on and forgets about everything that happened in the past, that she's going to just move on, go viral, make tons of money. But no, it's never that easy, Tophia, especially with such a dedicated group like the True Crew behind you to constantly remind you of your past.
I have to resort to being jealous when people are so mad that I can say whatever I want on live and no one has stopped me or tried to take me down. Like, you're so mad that I have a mouth to say whatever I want when your mouth is told to shut the fuck up and be quiet because no one likes what you have to say. No one wants to hear what you have to say. That's why you don't go live, because if you went live, you would have 0 people in your life and you would be talking to nobody. No one wants to hear what you have to say. There's 600 people. No, actually, there's 825 people in here. Go live. I dare some of y'all to go live and y'all have nobody in the live. The only people that will join will be trolls because they feel sorry for you. If anyone joins somebody's live that goes live, that's because you feel sorry for them. You join their live, you feel sorry for them, and they're sorry asses. That's all I gotta say, because that's all I gotta say. You know what? Let me do this, because here's the mass comments. Goodbye. They really don't like y'all. They said they wanted to go and sub only bowling. I helped you. What if your car blew up right now? What if I dig up your mom's grave right now? I'm not EDP, but okay. How am I the new EDP when I never got caught messaging minors, or have I ever got caught meeting up with minors? Y'all supported Diddy for years knowing that all of this stuff was out here. Let's be for real. Y'all was literally supporting Timberland when he said what he said about Aaliyah. This stuff was not new about Diddy. People came forward about Diddy. Hello? All of a sudden now everyone don't like Diddy. You don't like Diddy. It's so weird how people follow freaking bandwagons. I don't like Diddy. But ever since this more stuff about Diddy came out, all of a sudden you don't like him. What about the stuff before, which I was not born, like Diddy is older than I am. So how would I know a lot of stuff about Diddy? I don't. I was born in 94, okay? The year John Candy and Jim Belushi died. I believe Jim Belushi died in 94. There was amazing things that happened in 94. But one thing about it is I don't know.
Like, do you get where she's going with all this? Anybody who's against her, basically you all in chat, like all those people, all them supported Diddy. Like all these people calling out Tophia, you know, the lot of them supported Diddy in Tophia's eyes, but not Tophia. You know, Tophia didn't even know about Diddy stuff because she was born in 1994, which completely absolves her of any guilt. And I don't know why she tries doing this. She tries acting like there's some large group of people who've been supporting Diddy and loving Diddy, and they all happen to be in her chat room right now hating on her. She always wants to use anything she can to make the people she's going at sound as bad as possible. Her logic is always skewed. Like how in the beginning there, right? She brings up how most people when they stream, if you're a troll, you only get like a few people in there because you feel bad for them. But her, Tophia, she can pull 600 to 800 real fans, real viewers in her eyes. And that's how she sees it. The people in her chat are there because they're actual, genuine Tophia watchers. But if you're watching a troll channel or something, you're just a hater and you're there because you feel bad for this jobless soul. When really, Tophia's like entire chat, I can guarantee you there's maybe 1 or 2 people who are there to like kind of white knight and support her, and the rest are there to screen grab and like just to mess with her and tell her things that she doesn't like. It's not any fans. I mean, that's the one thing you can bet your bottom dollar on. There is not a single person in there that's a fan. They're either just trying to defend her or they're there to hate on her.
Like, where, like, you can't be black and rich in America because then someone's gonna complain. I don't hate everything. I just hate how the world is. I just hate that people, just like earlier, can come in my live stream and say the N-word and no one says anything because they don't care enough because it's a no-name profile. I just hate how people could threaten me, leave threats and DMs, but when I respond, people literally say it's freaking okay. I just hate how I'm not allowed to make thousands of dollars because people tell me get offline, but they don't tell the other people get offline and literally like, oh, I'm so sorry you're getting doxxed. That's not right. But when it comes to me, and they're the ones actively doxing people, but you're sitting here slapping them on the back. Like, oh, you know, I just hate it. There's a lot of things that I hate. Hate is a strong word. But I'm so freaking tired. I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna go waste my time working my ass off to get a job just to get a job, only to be told, sorry, we have to ask you to leave because we're getting harassment calls. Like they tried to call my brother's job and get him fired by saying he was a health hazard because they found out he worked there because some little idiot wanted to take a photo of him at his job, but yet they say, oh, we're not going to harass you at your job, but they've already done it. And luckily his job was nice enough and understood that and still let him work there. You didn't stop shit, dumbass. What did you think you was stopping? He still kept his job. Is that not crazy?
So at first there, Tophia's talking about how random accounts will show up and just call her the N-word, which is a scumbag move. And then she just jumps immediately to, well, why can't I make $1,000 online? It's never about the racism. The racism is something she can use as a shield to try to go, yeah, well, I deserve to be an influencer now, and it's these people in chat who are the reason I can't do that. No, because there's plenty of people who call out Tophia's bullshit who aren't racist in doing so. Most people who call out Tophia's bullshit aren't racist. If there's anyone in this situation who's being overtly racist in all their videos, it's Tophia herself. But she wants you to think she's being held down for that exact reason because of the color of her skin. Listen to the first thing she said there, that black rich Americans, that like they can never get rich without people being annoyed by it. And no, Tophia, you're just trying to attribute that to yourself, saying that if you get rich, people would be annoyed by it. But it's just more of your ifs and what if this happens and we could get rich. Nobody would be offended if you got rich, especially because of the color of your skin. We all just know you'd never get there. Tophia even says it in these videos. She's not going to go get a job because people will call it and get her to get fired. And she even admits they tried doing this with Brotherchu, but the job had enough foresight to go, yeah, this is a bunch of troll online bullshit and we're not going to fire this guy just because of it. Which is exactly what would happen with Toph too, but she's too lazy to get out there and try it. So she was even talking about building their own home. And that's truthfully how she thinks she's going to get around everything, is just by building a place, some random spot in the woods where they don't got to pay property taxes. I'm dead serious. This is one of her like actual ideas. And this is coming from a woman who says she can't stand on her own 2 feet for more than 2 hours a day. So, good luck with that one. So then somebody in Tophia's chat brings up that she is facing generational karma, and Tophia is quick to rebuttal this by informing them how many of her relatives are famous people, which is hilarious considering all these people are apparently so rich and famous, yet can't help Tophia in this rut she's in.
And actually, no, it's not generational karma because we have a very rich, very well-known, very rich, very well-known family member. Actually, a celebrity. And it's not generational karma because my uncle almost became a famous rock star, but he didn't want to leave his band behind, so he said no. A record label wanted to sign him, so that's not on my mom's side. On my dad's side, his famous cousin is Jermaine Dupri, so if that's generational karma, then if I was facing generational karma, I wouldn't have wealthy family members on both sides of the family. And my mom has lived an incredible life. She hung out and met Johnny Tophia. My grandpa knew John Ritter's dad, which was Tex Ritter. My grandpa was an incredible man. So was my grandma on my mom's side. On my dad's side, his family, sheesh, they be getting to the bag, okay? And if you don't know, Jermaine Dupri almost married Janet Jackson, which means I would have been related to Michael Jackson through marriage. If that sounds like generational karma, that would have been insane. Imagine saying you're related to Michael Jackson through marriage. That's crazy. Crazy. Because obviously we don't go to my dad's family reunions. And she was wearing really expensive clothes, telling everyone her son was Jermaine Dupri. Now, I don't know what that tells you. My dad's cousin told us that. So, his mom was at our family reunion. And my dad has family all over. My dad has family in New York. My dad has family in Atlanta. My dad has family in North Carolina, where he's from. He went to the same college that Michael Jordan went to. I mean, what more? Like, Campbell University, where Michael Jordan played basketball. I mean, like, hello?
Like, that story's clearly a fabrication. I'm not... Look, they may be your family, but if you don't talk to these people, they haven't even, like, spoken to you in years, you don't go to the family reunions, and you don't keep up with them, are they really family at that point? I feel like they're just relatives. You're related to them. But family is somebody you can look to and be like, hey, man, I talk to you a lot, I love you, and these people don't give a shit about Tophia. And I get that, like, you know, family, again, you may not talk to them for, like, 25 years, and you're still family, but in this case, nah, these people want nothing to do with Toph. They're just going to hide with their money and be like, we've done it. We are rich, and those dastardly Slydells are just living the life they've always deserved in a car. In the next clip, it gets really wild because Tophia is referencing something that Mamachu brought up on one of her own live streams a few months back, because Mamachu apparently exposed Tophia for putting peanut butter on her nether regions and having the dog lick it all. Like, it's horrible. It is horrible. And somebody brings it up in chat, and of course Tophia immediately turns to, oh, do you do that? Now, I do have to say, there is no proof saying this is true, but Tophia has no problem getting really pissed off about it. And anytime she gets very, very upset at the claims people throw at her, 9 times out of 10, if it's a lie, she's just like, yeah, whatever. But when it's like, when it's something that really she knows gets to her, she'll react, and she'll react in a pretty bombastic manner. I'm pretty sure she even goes into Tophiachu's Twitter account here a little bit. He recently had a new Twitter, but then was taken down after posting videos of, you know, naked women, which Twitter really doesn't mind anymore, but what they really minded was his picture of his toilet, in which you can see a bunch of $20 bills, a bunch of burnt plastic spoons, and a little baggie of a certain substance. And I guess that was what pushed Twitter to go, yeah, we're getting this dude the fuck off of here.
Did I put peanut butter? Where did you put peanut butter? You know, and this is another thing, too, that I've heard on a live stream, too, and I want to say this. Why do people love talking about people's cooters? That's weird. Like, why do you love talking about people's privates so much? And especially because it's personal, it's weird. It is weird. Why are you asking me? His Twitter got taken down. I don't care what he tweets because I'm not watching his Twitter. Thank you for the heart puffs. I'm like, y'all, if y'all go to his Twitter, you're enabling him to post that. Like, don't go to his Twitter and he'll stop posting. Like, I'm not gonna be concerned with that. There's other things that I need to be concerned with. That is not one of them. Thank you for the heart puff. That's got nothing to do with me.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like what she did right there, because you notice how she tries to brush off what Tophiachu's doing on Twitter by going, that's not me, I don't have anything to do with that. She's right, that's not her, that's her, like, crazy father who has nothing to do with the family right now. And Tophia's saying, look, whatever he posts on there has nothing to do with me. Again, that's true. But then we go back to her fighting with that girl Squid. You know, the one who exposed her for having a terrible apartment, the girl who was the maid there. Well, when talking about how bad of a person Squid is in her eyes, Tophia always references the fact that Squid's aunt, who I'm not even sure if she lives with, has a racist doll in her house. A caricature of an African-American, a pretty tasteless doll that her aunt is in possession of. But Tophia acts like now Squid is solely responsible for what her aunt says, and does. So if that's the backwards logic you want to go off of, then Tophia, you are now responsible for your father tweeting about finding 16 to 42-year-old women to come and I don't really want to go into detail, but he offered $10 billion for any woman between the ages of 16 and 42 to basically come over and be be his. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird. That's what Tophiachu gets up to on Twitter, and Tophia's like, that's none of my business. But she has no problem calling out other people's family members all the time. I mean, look at Brother Chu even. When Brother Chu was like called out for texting that minor a couple months back, Tophia wouldn't even look at the screenshots. And so this is a woman who loves calling out people for the actions of their family members, but when it gets reversed on her and people say, what about your family who have a pretty awful track record, she acts like it's completely null and void and nobody should have ever brought it up, because Tophia's her own person, she can't control that. Now, Squid, on the other hand, you need to figure out your aunt's issues. I don't know, get over there and figure that out, dude, because Tophia told you to.
Okay, Eleanor, you gotta go. I don't care if you're subscribed. You really gotta go. You're just being annoying. The fact that you keep saying stuff, you're negative, and it says follow back. Like, why are you here if you don't like me, but it says follow back? You gotta go. And if someone says what I think they're gonna say, you're also gonna get blocked. Like, you're gonna go with Eleanor too. To the graveyard, to the boneyard, like... Please, I'm so annoyed. Like, you have been really rude. Where did I enable anything? I said I'm not speaking on something I know nothing about. You guys failed to realize we only have like one car now. We don't have the SUV right now. So if I'm with my brother all the time, like I said, I haven't noticed anything. How does someone have a girlfriend living out of a car? But then again, I said I'm not going to defend the person because they could defend themselves. And I literally said I'm not speaking about something that has nothing to do with me.
Okay, but like, how can you say this when the majority of your content revolves around you talking drama with people you've never met in your life? Ash Travino, Shawty Bay, it goes down the list. When you hear accusations about people, you immediately jump on them. Then when people give you accusations about your own family, some of which have proof to it, you won't even look at the proof. You just stick your nose up and go, oh, it's not my problem. Tophia, based on the things you talk about, it's absolutely your problem to call these people out because you want to make TikTok a safer place, right? Do you also notice how she kicked old Eleanor out of the chat really quick? Eleanor is one of her subscribed trolls, which I don't get why you'd give Tophia money to troll her. It seems like you're the one getting trolled at that point, but I digress. Eleanor goes in there and says, why don't you call out your predator brother? And instead of even acknowledging it, she's like, you need to go. You need to leave. I'm blocking you. But if that same woman were to come into her chat and go, hey, Tophia, let's spend the next 30 minutes talking about how horrible the mother Ash Travino is, she would have jumped on that shit. She would have loved trashing Ash. But if you were to talk about how horrible of a mother Mamachu is, just letting her 31-year-old daughter rot in the car next to her, refusing to ever try to push her out and get a job, yeah, I'd say that she's not doing a very good job being a mother either.
What happened to the SUV? Right now, we don't have it. We don't know, and I don't want to talk about that because I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know. We don't know. It might have been towed because it had a red tag, because it was at the library and they told us we had to move it so that it wasn't running, and we said it's not running. It, you know, and then the security guard was being an a-hole, so then they saw that he called backup, and the backup was a lot nicer. He said, you guys got 7 days, but my brother decided to jump it and move it. We moved it. Next thing we know, we wake up. It was right in front of us. It's gone. There was a car in front of us and then it's gone. We don't know if it was towed. It had my clothes in it, so I don't even know. Cause they said they don't have it in their system. It was towed. They don't have it in their system. So I don't even know. I don't care about him. I literally just said they're trying to get him help. That we're in contact with someone to help get my father help. So how is that saying I don't care about him when I literally said that they're trying to get him help? Hello? But anyways, I'm just like so freaking tired because I just can't. And it's crazy. If it's not one thing, it's another, because there was someone driving erratically, honking like a maniac, and then like it was like a cat and mouse type thing. And I wasn't really gonna say anything, but they showed up, they started honking, they got chased, then they would disappear. I don't know, they were driving erratically, and then they kept chasing us. It was a whole thing, and I was up till like 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, because I said if they come back, we're just gonna, because we were trying to catch them so we could report them or whatever. And then it's just like, it's so crazy because it's just like all of this kept going on, and I was just like, you know.
What a tumultuous time to be a Slydell family member. Let me just say that their RV seems to have been stolen. Not RV, what the fuck am I talking about? SUV seems to have been stolen. Tophia said they called the towing place and they have no record of towing the car. So, I mean, to me, right, if they don't have a record of it, 9 times out of 10, somebody probably got their hands on that beloved SUV and is probably just joyriding all around Albuquerque right now. Maybe it's the same people trolling Tophia as she just brought up there, who are driving around her car all hours of the night and honking their horns, which, I don't know, seems a bit lame to waste your time and gas money just driving circles around the Slydell family car to piss them off. It's also pretty lame that Tophia thinks that the next time they come around, she's going to get out fast enough to chase them down, get their information, and report it to the police. The same police that she always says you should never use, by the way. And just what a fucking terrible couple of weeks for this family. I mean, and she brought up Tophiachu too, that, oh, we're trying to get him help. No, you're not. You just said 10 minutes ago that that's not your problem. Don't even look at his Twitter page, guys. But it's like, you don't want people to see what is actively going on with this man. Like, at the same time, you don't even know because you're claiming to not even check the Twitter page. So all these trolls have a better idea of what Tophiachu's up to than you do. And if you had a good idea of what he was up to, you know that he has no time for Mamachu anymore. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Tophiachu, he's got his eyes set on 2 new women, and they are Mariah Carey and Michelle Obama. And Mamachu, he has a thing for M's, you know, Mamachu, Mariah, Michelle, and he's hunting after all of them. He's the M hunter, is Tophiachu, and he's also looking for 16-year-olds like the creep he is. So, yeah, that's the Slydell family in the year 2025 in the month of February. Fuck, man. I feel like we come here, we cover this family every month, and things are just progressively staying the same. They are still just, living in the car, not any closer to getting a house, and it's sad. It's sad to kind of watch them wither away like this, but you can't blame anybody else but them. And so now, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, great rest of your month. Shit, ladies and gentlemen, the spring is coming up soon. It's about to be warm again, and it's going to be nice all around. It's been a pretty brutal winter, I think, for every single person in this country. I've heard of people living in Arizona just getting cold as shit. And it's going to be good to finally see that sun again, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you that tonight we have Too High for Stupid, episode 99, live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that means next week's episode 100. And if you liked this video, I guarantee you'll like next week's show too. We will be dropping the new album, Tophia's own album dedicated to her own family. Really, it's just AI's interpretation of the Slydell family story. And some of these singles, my friends, some of these tracks are just going to have you bumping. AI is useful for one thing, and it is for shitposting and making fake albums about Tophiachu. And with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all today on one of the featured tracks on this album. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a song all about Tophiachu. This is Plastic Spoon Artillery.
Wild plastic spoon artillery, green tape warrior, make a mockery. Police swarm in, they want that glory. 999 zillion, they owe blood in the story. Mind splitting, half voices in stereo, throwing cutlery quick, a frantic scenario. Pavement, battleground, cops on the scene. Green tape gauntlets, a schizophrenic dream. Spoons fly, whistle shrieking in the dark night. Cops in terror, Tophiachu ready to fight. 999 zillion, demands through the haze. Madness in his eyes, spark a fiery blaze. soldiers, a makeshift brigade. Green tape armor, homemade accolade. Riot gone nuclear, chaos unleashed. Tophiachu raging like a cornered beast. Demons grip the mind, twisting up reality. Police clash, struggle and fatality. Screams echo loud, streets stained with pain. 999 zillion reasons he won't be detained. Broken sanity and rubber band binds. Spoons in flight, splitting through time. Green tape holding, but grips getting thin. Tophiachu smirks, refuses to give in.